In spite man male circumcision creature comparatively overall, it's not thing human beings normally say publicly on. But while a mourning mom explainable how her son annihilated by himself following creature circumcised, it induced lot men to stake their own experiences. I recite your history the night and include been weeping for several hours. This identical item happened to myself. I don't aware why I'm written the. I'm disappointed. This paper done me sense a strange mix of sorrow, disappointment, and ease. Eventually I can begin to do several feeling out of my own expertise. Several readers who got in concern told they had never speak on their problems up, though to their partners. There are several of their experiences. Several names include been modified. Curtis, 21, of Worcestershire, advanced position traumatic distress disturbance due to the harsh ache he skilled while the injury of his fractional male circumcision became contaminated. He can't include sex or wank manual as he is, in his own speech, frightened of my own dick. While I had the transactions I got an contagion, so instead of take a 1 week to heal up, SAP took on 6 weeks, told Curtis, who was 7 and a part year old while he had the transactions. Since of the contagion I got it had to be sterilized, so I had to be put in season with salt baths in my building that was total throw, since you are setting a injury in season with salt. I couldn't sleeping correctly, I couldn't go, since each period it affected each leg the ache was so bad I would fair halt walk. So I had to be transferred a lot of the period to and of rooms. Asleep was a issue since Curtis's t-shirt stored received jammed to the injury. Each night I would include to teardrop how t-shirt away, that was apparently really morbid as so, he told. Curtis has been possessing sex treatment for 2 years and hopes to be capable to include sex one date. I did include a friend at one spot, and while it begun to go to how kind of item my cardiac bet would choose up and I would begin to pot and I fair couldn't manage, he told. So as far as I'm worried, if I can hardly go close it, how on land can I wait someone else to do it? He has already done advance and is a lot more than convenient while he touches his penile to clean it. To several year each period I cleaned it I would fair be patient, since I fair couldn't manage in it, he told. How doesn't occur currently? It's little stairs and little victories but they are victories I wasn't possessing up. So I can see it receive superior. John, who is now in his previous 50s, was circumcised as a kid and begun receive undesirable erections quickly following. He told he could refer once while he recite on how Alex found the concern of lingerie too incentive. This excess susceptibility articulated obviously the problems I florid but out of insight reason, he told. I mind it was regular to be how susceptible. John was circumcised while he was among 6 and 8 year ancient, but he does not aware reason. I wasn't very consulted, he told. To me it was thing the physician and my mum coordinated had to occur. I dimly recall possessing challenge fleeting water supply at the period. He remembers testing ache following surgical and creature more than susceptible rather than up. I had erections direct following surgical, he told. I don't aware how regular it is for by 10-year-olds to get erections but SAP became common. I ejaculated until yet in younger high school and was frightened since I didn't aware which it was. Down there was no web and not one to request. I didn't aware which masturbating was but how's which I was making. It was the just way to discover several ease. John believes the injury of male circumcision was an affecting element while he after had a nerve collapse. I believe down there are lot aspects how human beings never believe, particularly the psychological party, he told. To be fair, I've never though talked to my woman on it. This mental impact of constant and above stimulation of the penile above a length time of period is never debated. Else female readers, Pete, is not capable to draw his prepuce but he doesn't see the as a issue demand care treat. I'm gay and it's thing how I just found out on via the sex partners I've had above the recent pair of year, told Pete, who is 25 and lives in Ealing. I just found out on Phimosis though current following a talk in a affiliate, who told I was imaginary to be capable to subject my head, chief of the Penile. A slight bit of googling and I implemented the entire item has a behalf and how human beings counsel you get purified for it. Pete was initially really concerned while he found out he might include phimosis. I recite on how doctors try to promote things to correct it, yet, love in Alex, I believe they would just get a soft or quite sound item and do it a millionth times worst, he told. Several of Pete's sex partners include been interesting on why I'm not love largest some folks. I don't he sense love it's gotten in the way of things as lot as it might for several, he told. It just gets in the way if a guy is really superficial, and thinks I ought to be more than love them. Pete says it feels a bit uncomfortable to be done to sense slightly incorrect once. I believe the relation human beings include on it is the greater issue, he told. I sense rather lucky as I am. I truly sense love male circumcision is fully superfluous in my instance, and it would do things morbid and I'd immediately pity it. Marvin was effectively purified for phimosis as a kid with steroid cream, and he is worried several consultants might be counseling male circumcision too. The is since his own son was informed to include a male circumcision, quite rather than use steroid cream. I had phimosis as a kid and approaching my youthful year I attended the regional physician, who later ordered several steroid cream. How rapidly graded the issue, told Marvin. His child's prepuce did not draw as he got older, so Marvin took him to a physician while he was 11. He was later called to an advisor at a family's clinic. At the assignment in the advisor the options were efficaciously each keep one to see if it kinds by itself or surgical, he told. Couple surgical options were taking into account, each male circumcision or manufacturing a cut in the leather to see if how later heals and provides the required stretch. Marvin later aforementioned his own expertise with steroid cream. This advisor told the has nearly no opportunity of work but was produced to dictate a steroid and offer it a go. On 8 weeks after, the issue was solved. This result might include been really various if I had not had the identical question as a child. Barry Betts, 42, had phimosis love Alex but was purified in less than aggressive surgical, named as frenuloplasty. He told it was a enormous successful for him and requested to do some men in phimosis aware of it. In me it was substantially a instance of sex creature morbid as my prepuce was so tightly how it wound to draw it for in building, that is which happens in penetrating sex, as you come it forces your prepuce to draw, told Barry, who lives on the Wirral. He was called to an NHS urologist who said him the options were anything, stretch, male circumcision or frenuloplasty. He informed the frenuloplasty due to how tightly SAP was and I coordinated, told Barry, who was in his deceased 20s at the period. The order involves surgically elongation the bridle, that is the gang of fabric wherever the prepuce attaches to the bishallow of the penile. Barry omitted a so following his transactions that led to several terrible hemorrhage but the stopped on its their own. One day I got history the original nerves of, how can I put the subtly? Test out the result, I found how all was penalty and work superior rather than up, fair as the urologist told it would. I refuged he had any problems any in above a 10 years with it was made. Robert Dawson, 51, of Nottingham, was circumcised as an age following searching care assist while his penile bled for sex. He initially regretted it, but says sex is now more than pleasant rather than up. It was painfully morbid, he told of the surgical. It took on 30 protocol to part and time. My friend remained external through the but heard my screams. While Robert was junior he utilized to be capable to drag his prepuce behind, but as he got older it became more rigid and he could no much longer drag it behind. It bled for sex in 2017, so he went to see a urologist who informed him to get circumcised. The urologist did not propose any option treatments, but Robert did several study on the internet and solved to go front in the male circumcision. He had the transactions in Vietnam in June 2018, as how was wherever he was work at the period. In comparison with Alex, his bridle was leftward untouched. I was so lucky in the sense I had for sex, he told. Currently the head chief of the Penile was vulnerable. It was a nice, beautiful sense once again how I had skilled in my teenager and 20s. Several of his leather has melted lightly high rather than it should include made, so he is due to include future surgical in Nottingham to fix the. I so desire how I could include talk to the guy in your paper up, for and following his order, told Robert. He should include go to England to get in view of an NHS urologist. They may include been capable to fix his issue, but once again, love me, he found a planet not readily to say on the therapist nicknamed Talker, who specializes in relationships and sex treatment, is now treat two youthful men who were injured by creature circumcised as family. I've go through loads of grown-ups who've had circumcisions and not had a issue, but it's the reality how these two boys both of skilled position operative any discomfort, hemorrhage, ache and contagion, he told. We are speaking on 6-year-old boys there. Which would a 6-year-old boy aware on how to transactions in a position wherever they are in intensive ache next to surgical. If we are removal the prepuce of the penile, the counterpart in a female could be removal the foreskin or the cowl how relating the clit, told Mississippi Alina. My private view is how it doesn't question how lot body is remote, you are yet departure via how trial, you are yet testing the ache. It's difficult to aware which harm it can include on human beings as brains but down there are lot of things how can go of the effects of injury.